passengers are 1986 mostly, but the troops are 1864. Johnny Reb and Jane of the 1st Virginia Infantry, Billy Yank of Day's Brigade. They are going to meet at this ambush. Here in the Red Clay Valley, a few miles north of Wilmington, Delaware, we are caught in the middle of a civil war that never ends. Old number 3's driving wheels take us to the soldiers hidden along the tracks. Take us to more than a century back in time. Lay low. That cannon is pointing our way. The ambush pays off for the rebels. Now it is their turn to ride the Wilmington and Western train into Green Bank Station in northern Newcastle County. A lot of modern civilians ride with them.
It's a tourist attraction. We're the second largest attraction of tourists in the state of Delaware. And we want to be the first. And we can offer children and families an outing.
Railroad, with its dozen engines and its 10 miles of track, is owned by the nonprofit Historic Red Clay Valley Incorporated. Spencer Wood of Wilmington is its president, and like most of its 500 members, he is a volunteer.
We're looking for people to volunteer for any job, and we train them to be firemen, conductors, engineers. We have female firemen, station masters to work on the track. We have professional people who on weekends work on the track to enjoy themselves.
And to enjoy the view of the countryside, they are helping to keep green by working on the railroad.
To preserve the Red Clay Valley, that is our primary charter goal. And we felt this was a way of showing it to people in a fashion they would enjoy it. We doubled our ridership in 1985, and we're looking to hit close to 100,000 in 1987. That's what our goal is. We've been a force working with other civic organizations to ensure that things don't get built in the Red Clay Valley that's going to destroy something that you can never get back.
But passengers on today's train can get back in history, thanks to this brigade of Union soldiers and 3 companies of the Confederate Infantry. Their chosen mission is to reenact events from the Civil War.
We'll be going down the track about 4.5 miles to Mount Cuba. We anticipate that the Union forces which are encamped there may attempt to take the train. And we anticipate that a battle will occur.
For many of these weekend warriors, this is a great escape from the hassles of modern life.
I think the main reason that people have gotten interested in it is because modern life is so complex, and this life is so simple in a way that your roles are very easily defined, and you're retreating from life essentially for a weekend.
Weekdays, Phil Ketcher is an author and a book editor from Devon, Pennsylvania. But
in this particular mode, I'm a corporal in the 72nd Pennsylvania. It was an elite unit from Philadelphia.
Corporal Ketcher is one of thousands in the United States and Europe as well who have decided to enlist in this period of American history. This here is now a Union train, but that's okay with the passengers. To Geiger Van Sant of Wilmington, it now means that she has an excuse for being late for work.
Oh, we love it. It's so exciting. It's very different, and they've really done a marvelous job. And we're captured. Woo! And I won't have to go to work tomorrow, I hope.
I want these men back here.
Lieutenant Fetzer of Day's Brigade prepares his men for battle as the train approaches Hockessin.
They have
In civilian life, he is a sales manager who lives near Newark, Delaware, but always felt drawn to the idea of doing the Civil War.
Now listen, can you guys
studied the Civil War and studied the Civil War and had been for years kind of flirting with the idea of doing it. And then one day I met a fellow in a store, and we talked, and he said, come on out, and he gave me a uniform, and I came out, and that was it. And we were done. I was caught.
By we were done, Dale means his family, his 3 daughters, Jennifer, Susie, and Sherry, and his two sons, Billy, the drummer boy, and Julian, the powder monkey, and his wife, Linda.
I get to look pretty. I get the hoop skirt, and I get to be hot all summer.
But when Dale first started on his journey back to the Civil War, the family got to be all wet.
It was Father's Day 2 or 3 years ago, and Dale said, I found a Civil War unit, and we're going to go. It was Father's Day. We went to Fort Delaware. It rained all day. I didn't think it would lead to everybody doing this and trips to Virginia every other weekend. And they love the camping, which surprises me. And Billy's big thing is the camp breakfast. He likes the food.
And following his father into battle here at Hockessin. Doing it this way led to terrible casualties in the Civil War, especially at Gettysburg. Although today's battle has ended as a Union victory, nobody lost the way that they do in real war, as the battlefield's dead and wounded pick themselves up and return hot but unharmed to the present.
What does the Civil War do for these people? That's hard to say. I think it's on a plane beyond rational understanding. These people love it. These men, look, I'm soaking wet. This uniform is wool. It's 90 degrees out here. It's hot as can be, and I loved every minute of it.
But still, it is fine to travel back in time if you have an air-conditioned car waiting for you at the end of the trip.
I get in my car and go home, take a shower, drink a beer, and clean the weapon.
This train, these soldiers, they are wrapped up in a dream that gave us our nation. And in the Red Clay Valley, the dream lives on.